Hello, welcome. I'm Arona and I'm getting ready to do one of my full album appreciation videos. I've done one for each of Sleep Token's previous full albums, all three of them. I think at least one or two of them were broken up into two pieces because I like to comment. I will pause, so forewarned, this is not just a sit back and listen together thing. I'm going to be actively reacting and I tend to have lots of thoughts, so yeah, I'm gonna pause and probably lots of replaying. This video will just be as long as it ends up being. I don't have an agenda. I'm just here to enjoy it and fully take it in as much as I possibly can on first listen. So the way this works, the way I did it last time, I do like to do a full listen to the song itself, and then I take a minute to digest the lyrics. And then if I have anything else that's on my mind that I want to talk about regarding the lyrics or anything else, I'll do that. So it's kind of a separate thing so that I'm not trying to take everything in at the same time, because I just feel like that's impossible, especially with Sleep Token. It has proven completely futile to try to grasp everything that's going on. And I did want to say just briefly with the singles that have come out, the first reaction for Caramel, you know, as soon as I got done doing that, I listened to it over and over again. And this week I've been listening. I went all the way back to 1 and 2, the EPs, and just started listening to everything kind of in preparation. And it was really fascinating to me how these latest singles from this album kind of shed new light and provided a brand new lens for the first EPs. For some reason, I experienced those EPs a little bit differently for having listened to these latest singles and their specific styles. I don't know if that makes sense, but I talked about, you know, at length, there's a reaction video for each of the 3 singles already up, so I probably won't, I'll try not to like repeat myself too much on those 3, but anyway, is there anything else I want to say in preparation? I don't think so. I'm just ready to dive in. I want to hear this. So we've got track 1, Look to Windward. So I usually expect, if we're going to have one of these soft intros, it's some kind of beautiful soft keys, you know, and to have it, this particular sound choice opening up the album is really interesting to me. The chords themselves ring familiar with the tracks that I've heard so far on this song, as far as the consistency in mood and tone, I guess. So yeah, my interest is piqued. Will you halt this eclipse in me? I think that's what he's saying. Once again, I think the intro to Damocles, I was like, well, I'm gonna react to the music first, and then we'll see if I can digest the lyrics separately and talk about those. But again, this is definitely like the lyrics are at the forefront. Maybe that's I think so far that is the tendency in everything so far for this album. This is the artist stepping forward and kind of presenting himself in a new light, like someone mentioned, to put it in a way that made a lot of sense. Like, this is the man behind the mask, kind of stepping forward and relaying something to us about his experience with this rise in popularity, the demands on the band as artists, and the lyrics are just so incredibly powerful and devastating. He has such a way of expressing what's going on in his heart and mind, like nothing I've ever heard before. His writing is just incredibly powerful, and you get right away because the music itself works with that. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but the way that these moments of impact are set up in each of the Sleep Token songs is part of what sets them apart, and it's just part of the genius, honestly. So yeah, once again, this is definitely the song itself, like the other 3, it's a stepping forward. I have something to say, and I know this is not quite what you expected. That's the feel that I get from it so far. I love that there is a movement towards more traditional acoustic sounds, instruments, Like, of course, we had that beautiful saxophone. What was that? At the end of Emergence. And now we've got these just very natural, pared down strings. You know, it's not super affected. You know, everything just feels stripped down and simplified, while the music itself maintains the same kind of emotional impact. And like even the sounds so far that we started this track with, like it almost sounds fried, the sound itself, and that to me is kind of like a metaphor for you know, vessel stepping forward. You know, I'm kind of fried right now, and this is what's coming out. I don't know if that makes any sense. Something else that I think I've seen in every track so far, you've got this kind of middle to high frequency, beautiful softness, and then instead of like hitting you in the face with a change or a build, it's just super beautiful, awesome, subtle bass that comes in, the pulsing bass, and it's so light. It's like you don't even know it's there. You just feel the layers building on each other, and that again works to put the vocals at the forefront. Which again, that is this album is you know, it's all about the lyrics. Okay. And there's the slap in the face for you. Definitely that is recognizable from the Caramel, like the most awesome moment towards the end of Caramel. Again, I love this effect, like the sound, what they're doing to it. It just sounds fried. It just sounds like, I think I called it a refusal in Caramel when that scream comes in. Like it's very in your face and impactful, but it also just sounds fried. I don't know. That's that's just the main descriptor that comes to my mind for what I'm hearing. But no less for the devastation, the impact that it has. Yeah. Such an eeriness behind that. It's like this low hum in the background. Like you've got the fried, you know, overdrive, whatever, tones of the guitars, but underneath that there's like this, it's almost like a haunted whisper of something from an abyss, just kind of creeping forward and making itself known, and it's just constant. Like there, it's not a pulse, like you would recognize like some hard breakdown. It's just this super constant, you know, black metal-esque drone kind of going on. And again, it just seems like not quite right. It sounds amazing and at the same time haunting. Like do you hear that? Those eerie like bells in the background. It's such a cool effect. There's that combination just consistent through the whole almost the whole song right now. Like you have the forefront with the melodies going on, but the background just has this super eerie tone, and it's playful, not playful. It's light, not playful. It's like it's very haunting. Just this last section. It's like this haunting tone. It's just like a beautiful reverb delay. I don't know, it's so ethereal. Like he's just half in existence right now, and like part of him is able to speak, the other half is just fighting to stay in this realm of reality, whatever this beautiful realm is. I don't know. Those keys, like that is just going from heavy effect to like just naked keys. This is just really interesting. I just have to say again, listening to this track right now just really helps me connect more closely to their earliest EPs that came out. Because this is just, it's absolutely this, it's the same Sleep Token, and it's just in this different muted lens. Like, it's got every bit of the intricacy and the impact. They're just doing it in a different way, in a different style, coming at you from a different angle, and it's so fascinating. One of the favorite things that I like from everything I've heard in this album so far is how amazingly they set up the emotional impact of the sections based on what comes before it. Those hip-hop beats or like the dance beat in Caramel, it like puts you in this certain mode, and then it gets softer, and then fuck right in the face. Like a super, super emotional, devastating kick in the dick is what it feels like. I mean, I would imagine. I don't have one, but you know what I'm saying. Nice. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna read over the lyrics, and I usually use Metal Kingdom, but obviously it's very early. I don't know how accurate these lyrics are going to be, but bear with me. We'll do the best we can. All right. So I love that we are totally being immersed in this mythological landscape. There's a lot of references to philosophical and religious mythology going on. I am the demon of Sodom, garden of gardens. I am the god of the gaps. You know, I live by the feather and die by the sword. So we've got the two houses, and I will sunder the earth only to burn the reward. So there's just this super clear undertone of conflict, and it's like, it's got some levels to it. The conflict itself is physical, but more importantly, on a higher level, that is wreaking havoc in his mind, is kind of how I get it. It evokes the myth of Sisyphus, where he's talking about, you know it isn't over till I say it's over. No more little angels sitting on my shoulder, so give me the edge of a blade and a time and a place, and I'll leave them cold and pushing up boulders. And that rings really familiar with the whole sentiment so far of the speaker in these songs being, like I said, fried. I love the fried adjective here. Pushing up boulders. So myth of Sisyphus he's the guy who was condemned to perpetually push a boulder, you know, up a super steep hill just for it to roll back down. He's got to do it again, and that's his whole eternity, his fate. And we've got a lot of really interesting references that point back to this reality of being lost. The subject definitely feels like they're in a space where they are lost, unsure of how to continue. And the word lost itself in a religious context has a lot of specific connotations to it too. You know, you're lost until you find salvation. Lost in terms of your soul, it can be in terms of your mental capacity, how you're navigating the world, just being lost. That's a feeling that Vestal has evoked many times in his music, accompanied with helplessness, hopelessness a lot. So yeah, this is, like I said, familiar territory, but the storytelling aspect is what's unique. And again, we're just in this completely fresh, new, unique environment. And it is a really beautiful, unified whole that is consistent. We've got these beautiful reflections of the message and the sound choices in the music, and at the same time, it's got those, you know, trademark changes that set you up and then throw you against a wall and then rock you back, rock you back into the fold of beauty and melancholy and softness and calm, and then throws you back on the floor. It's just, it's a heartfelt and mental workout listening. Okay, so Emergence, this was the first single that they released in preparation for the album, so let's reappreciate this track. Recognize that tone, right? It's from the beginning of the last song. Yeah, I like how consistent the theme is running through all of these songs so far. So I don't know if I referenced it specifically in the first reaction, but something that occurred to me listening to it this time is a lot of the Sleep Token work. The speaker is working on a lot of different layers, right? There's abstractness going on in the lyrics. They're not straightforward. There's a lot of interesting lore theories out there, obviously. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to get stuck on them. But I just imagine that in this song in particular, he's talking to himself. I see that a lot in the Sleep Token songs. Like, the lyrics are very self-reflective, and this idea of emerging out from underneath who you were, that feels like a kind of pulling yourself up out of, whether it's a pit of depression or something else that's going on. It's definitely an emergence, coming out of somewhere that you've been in for a long time, trying to adapt to a new world or something like that. Feels really fitting for the themes in this environment that has been created. So yeah, again, just a super consistency in tone and theme going on here that feels like it's all within this unique story, which I appreciate. More than any other work, the rhythm just amplifies and pushes forward that emotional impact so effectively, more effective, honestly, that I've heard in any of these other albums. The way that they're using the rhythm and the sound choices, the instrument choices, alongside those rhythms with the drums, and the brilliance of arrangement, where those changes are in the song, in the lyrics, in the story, the builds, like the way it prepares you. Like, this is not just, oh, this will be cool, let's just put this change here, they won't be expecting it, it'll be crazy. Like, no, this is very meticulously constructed to maximize the impact. Oh my gosh. And again, it's one of those things, like, I've heard this song several times, but it takes several times to kind of process how amazing that is and what's happening to you when you're listening to it because of the careful arrangement. Yeah, that could be interesting. Sorry, again, I don't want to get lost in lore theories, but it's so easy to do. So take me back to Eden. We kind of had this resolution toward the end where he's ready to let go and he's found new love, maybe. This, introduction, these first two songs, it feels like kind of the budding, to be metaphorical, of this new reality for someone who has experienced the war, the battle, on a mythological level. That's how powerful that battle was. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. But this is kind of the emerging of a new phase in the speaker's life. And the way it's portrayed lyrically and musically, it's kind of this all-encompassing, multi-dimensional, out-of-time myth. So at the same time that the lyrics are deeply personal for, like, the man behind the mask in Sleep Token, it is always continues to be this very universal and accessible story that everyone can, take certain sections of it. Like, yeah, I know what that feels like. I've been through that before. So this is really interesting. This new beginning. There's that eerie, ethereal, haunting notes in the background. It's in the upper register this time, so if you hear it, just zero in on it. It just adds this really weird quality to it. So out of left field and so fitting at the right time. It's gorgeous. Another interesting sound choice, kind of this just very simple pared down bell. Alright, so to me, yeah, definitely reinforcing, even in the title, Past Self. We have left something behind, and we're in this new territory. That is equally as fascinating. So, I feel like in this project, an experiment that is Sleep Token, an entity has been created that has now taken full creative control to where the band itself is even a second thought. Like, so many bands will just struggle year over year to deliver the same thing that made them popular in the first place or whatever. And it's like this entity and this message that we're getting, it comes from somewhere that is being completely transparent and showing you those in-between spaces that a lot of other artists try to hide because it's not, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, it's just an expectation that people have, like, we're gonna have another Take Me Back to Eden, right? Like, no, this is completely different. And it's just fascinating and deserving of so much admiration and respect, in my view, for presenting something that is just raw and real. And the lyrics that I am catching here so far is just like this, you know, I was catapulted into the stratosphere with the success. And now this is me, like, floating up there, lost. I'm not even sure who I was before because so much has happened that it's completely changed my chemistry. You can take it or leave it. You can dance with me if you want to. What was the lyric? Like, dance with me if you want to. That wasn't the exact thing, but that was the sentiment. Now is the time to, like, choose your sides, I guess. Which is interesting because that harkens back to the original, the promo for the album, like choosing that between the houses. Okay, that makes sense. So, in that particular light of the many different interpretations, like, the one house is, do we keep going the way that we were, or the other house, do we accept the change and roll with it and see where it takes us into new territory? And let me tell you, going with the change is almost always the better option, because that is what time does. It moves forward. If you don't move forward with it, you're going to be left in the dust, and then suddenly there's just nothing but ruins around you where there used to be life, because life and art and beauty moves forward and finds new vessels to manifest itself. I like that. Okay. So give me another minute. I'm going to look at the lyrics real quick, see if there's anything I want to talk about that I might have missed. Okay. So, basically what I was able to catch in general is what I get, the feeling for this, but there's a particular lyric that harkens for me personally back to Ascensionism. The hip-hop section of that and the lyrics kind of take you out and into this idea of being in a future where we have the technology to get out of reality for a little while, but at the end of the day we have to come back and just accept where we actually are. Everything else is like a distraction. I just had it a second. Stepping out from my future, uploading my true self. Are you the guardian angel hacking into my brain cell, stepping out from my future, uploading my true self? That's really interesting to me. It's like even the speaker here with the messages that are coming out doesn't even recognize himself. And there's this kind of second guessing, not really doubt, but it's definitely like we're dancing on the line, make your choice. And this heartbreaking reference to those who seem to be true believers turning out to be faithless. So again, we're sticking with this thematic element with mythological references, even more heavy-handed than the last album. It's just this very real presence right now, even in the visuals. All of these videos with the visuals takes you back to a long-lost era where there are nothing but ruins to examine. And this is kind of the feeling. It's like, are you going to sit and wallow amidst the ruins, or are you going to follow the mysterious white rabbit? Right? And yeah, that's apt as far as going for the futuristic dystopian feel of the technology creeping in with the ascensionism and this. If this is real, then I am all up in a frenzy. Not like before when I was empty. You know, it's not a game or a fantasy, and I don't even know who I used to be. But nothing is the same, and some things have to change now. So yeah, there it is. There's like the overriding theme going on right now. Okay, I think that's all. I think that's all I wanted to point out. I just don't want to be lost again. I just don't want to be lost again. Deeply personal stuff going on here. But at the same time, evoking themes that are universal and just, again, out of time. Still relatable, still accessible. Alright, what is the next track? Dangerous. Let's do that again. It's interesting still, like, who is the you? This is a different you. This is like, it feels like a different you from the one that was taking him by the arms, wrapping their arms around him, or him wrapping his arms around this you and pulling them out from beneath where they were in Emergence. This one is haunting his dreams, changing the course of where his creative thought process is going, and that's really interesting too. So we've got multiple references to dancing, which makes a lot of sense because we've got some dance beats going on between the hip-hop sections and just in general this vibe of making you want to move. And that is really interesting, especially since we've got Caramel coming up within the next few tracks, kind of just clarifying this reality that he's trying to convey of being stuck. Again, I have this idea of the speaker like being stuck in space. There's no gravity holding him down. He's kind of weightless. I think that's been referenced explicitly so far. And, you know, he's reaching out to this new presence, multiple presences, who knows, to kind of ask for guidance. But at the same time, asking the audience, you know, us as listeners, it's time to make a choice and decide whether you're with me or against me, right? So that's kind of feel. So I think that'll be I think I'm closing in on an hour, so that'll be the end of part 1. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look at the lyrics, and part 2 we'll start with a little closer look at the lyrics. So, thank you.